Every morning you put on clothes without even thinking about it. A shirt, a pair of pants, shoes. It feels completely normal. But stop for a second and imagine something strange. What if humans had never invented clothes? No jackets in winter, no shoes on hot ground, no fabric protecting your skin. Today, clothing feels like a basic part of being human, but thousands of generations ago, humans had nothing like it. So how did we go from walking around with almost no clothing to building an entire world around what we wear? And more importantly, why did humans start wearing clothes in the first place? Was it because of the cold? Was it to protect the body? Or was there another reason hiding behind this strange invention? To find out, we have to go back, far beyond cities, far beyond agriculture, far beyond civilization. Around 100,000 years ago, our ancestors lived in a world where survival depended on what they could find, build, and carry. There were no shops, no factories, no blankets waiting inside a warm house, and no jackets hanging in a closet. If the temperature suddenly dropped, your body had to deal with it, and this created a serious problem. Because humans are unusual among mammals. Most mammals already come with their own natural winter coat. Wolves have thick fur, bears have thick fur, lions have fur covering most of their bodies. But humans? We are remarkably less hairy. So why would evolution take away something that could have kept our ancestors warm? One possible answer is heat. As humans became better at long-distance walking and running, staying cool became extremely important. And humans have one remarkable ability: we sweat a lot. Sweating allows the body to release heat while we keep moving. This may have helped our ancestors pursue animals over long distances until the animal became exhausted. But there was a trade-off. Less body hair helped humans lose heat, but it also made cold environments more dangerous. And that's where clothing could have changed everything. Instead of growing a permanent layer of fur, humans could create one. Animal hides could be wrapped around the body. Plant fibers could eventually be turned into useful materials. And the best part, unlike natural fur, you could control it. Too hot? Take it off. Too cold? Put it back on. But now comes the biggest mystery. When did humans actually start wearing clothes? Finding the answer is surprisingly difficult. Clothing is made from materials that usually disappear. Skin decays, plant fibers rot, wood breaks down. So archaeologists can't simply dig into the ground and find an ancient shirt from 100,000 years ago. Instead, scientists look for indirect evidence, and one of the strangest clues comes from something most people would never expect: lice. Humans have been dealing with lice for an incredibly long time, but clothing lice are different from head lice. At some point in human history, a population of lice began living primarily in clothing. Scientists can compare their DNA and estimate when that split happened. The evidence suggests that clothing may have become common roughly somewhere around 100,000 to 170,000 years ago. The exact date is still debated, but even the possibility is incredible. Our ancestors may have been wearing animal skins long before humans built cities, long before writing, and long before anyone had even imagined civilization. But clothing wasn't necessarily invented just for warmth. Imagine walking through a forest with bare feet, sharp rocks, thorns, hot ground, cold ground, biting insects. Every step could hurt. A simple covering could protect the body from an environment filled with dangers, and animal hides were incredibly useful. They could become clothing, they could become blankets, they could help create shelters, they could be turned into bags or other useful objects. One animal could provide materials that helped humans survive in several different ways. But then, something changed. Clothing stopped being just about survival. It became a way to communicate. Think about the modern world. You can often learn something about a person before they even speak, just by looking at what they're wearing. A police officer has a uniform. A soldier has a uniform. A doctor has recognizable clothing. A wedding dress tells you immediately. Expensive clothing can signal wealth. Traditional clothing can signal culture. And certain styles can tell people which group you belong to. Clothing became a visual language, and humans became extremely good at speaking that language. Colors, patterns, materials, jewelry, different styles. All of them could communicate information without saying a single word. But perhaps the most important transformation was this. Humans didn't just use clothing to survive the environment. We eventually used clothing to shape how other humans saw us. What began as a piece of animal skin slowly became something much bigger. It became identity, culture, status, fashion, and eventually one of the most recognizable parts of human civilization. So, the next time you put on a shirt, don't think of it as just fabric. Think about the first human who looked at an animal hide, picked it up, and realized that the environment didn't have to control their body anymore. They could create their own protection. And that simple idea may have been the beginning of one of humanity's oldest inventions: clothing.